Hey folks, what's up? Welcome back to another Poemass video, and today let's talk about the new Leon alt and Dragapult, which is dropping later tonight, which as usually will be somebody for live, hopefully. And since I haven't done the videos for Variety Mallow and Kiawe, I'll just do those two here like at the end as well. So if you're interested, you could probably just skip to there. I'll have timestamps up and all that stuff. So anyways, let's just go over Leon first, right? So Alt Leon and Dragapult, this is just basically, he's Mr. Debuff. He's Mr. Debuff. He comes in here, he debuffs a lot. He's kind of like Alt Iris, right? But like good and like modern. He's kind of like a modern version of Alt Iris, right? That just does a lot of damage and debuffs a lot and is just a good unit overall, right? So, quick overview of the stats and all that stuff. So, if you look at like these are some crazy good stats, right? 492 speed is that's just fantastic. That's just very delicious, very delicious. You love to see that. At least I love to see that. And then 424 physical attack is also really nice too. And then I mean the HP is not bad. The other stats don't really matter. Okay, so as for move, you got Dragon Dart, which is 120 BP, 4 gauges, 100% accuracy, single target, but it does attack twice in a row, so that's very good. And then you got Will-O-Wisp, which is Will-O-Wisp. Beat-Breaking Swipes, which is, it just activates whenever the user uses any move once, and then lowers the target's attack, defense, and speed by 1, 2 gauges, AoE, 144 BP as well. So it's not like, because one of the issues with the Alt Iris is a lot of times when she's trying to debuff, she's missing out on damage, right? So, Breaking Swipes, when you're using Breaking Swipes with Alt Iris, it's like, okay, it's doing like 3 digits like damage, right? Which is not a lot. But with Beat-Breaking Swipes over here, this is definitely going to be doing a lot of damage as well, right? It's almost like half of a Dragon Dart, right? And also, it's AoE, all that stuff, and then -1 attack, defense, and speed every single time you use it. So that's very nice. Obviously, it's still not going to be as good as Dragon Darts damage-wise, but you're not sacrificing like that much damage in comparison. And then you have the training move, attack +4, speed by 1. Crit by 3, that's just pretty nice, right? You don't have attack max out there, but you do have crit max out, and you get like an extra speed buff, which is nice because you have a base speed of almost 500 there, right? The Sync Nuke multiplier is based on the more the target stats are lower, the greater the power of its attack, which is obviously very easy to do with this guy. He's good at debuffing. Did I mention that yet? All right. So as for the passive, you got Piercing Blows, which is Piercing Blows, Unfortunate Strike. Guaranteed chance of lowering a random, stat, right? If it's a multi-strike attack like Dragon Darts, right, it lowers 2 of them, right? 2 of them by 1. It could be the same, but, you debuff 1 by 1, and then you debuff the other 1 by 1. So yeah, it's just the usual attack, defense, special attack, special defense, speed, accuracy, evasion, right? And then you have the Impervious as well, so its own stats doesn't get loaded. So yeah, that's the base kit. You also have the Dynamax, Max Wormwind, right? Attack -2 for the entire team or opposing ally, not your own team. Max Guard as well, and then another Max Wormwind because why not? Anyway, so there's that. So as for the grid, right? If you're looking, how many copies you want for this unit. At 1 out of 5, you do have the a lot of the debuffing stuff, right? You should still do some solid damage on Dragon Darts. You do have the Will-O-Wisp, the max moves, right? Piercing Blows. So 1 out of 5, I feel like he is fine. He is definitely fine, right? What is he missing out on? I'd say it's more so, a lot of like some utility stuff. He is missing out on some damage. I wouldn't say like a ton, because like, otherwise it's mainly just like Bronze Sync. There's Bronze Sync 5, Scorching Sync 5, which is not nothing, obviously. That's 100% right there, right? Obviously your power ups for your max moves and sync moves, right? The BP stuff, and again, there's just a lot of other like utility stuff. But I feel like him at 1 out of 5 should be really good for a sync nuker, because usually, sync nukers, a lot of them do have to get to at least 3 out of 5 for their capabilities there, but he has a lot of them there already, right? So I feel like he's pretty solid at 1 out of 5. At 2 out of 5, you gain. You gain like Flabbergast on Will-O-Wisp, so you could also make him confuse as well, which might be helpful against Yuxi if you time them right, I guess. It also has Catalyst, which is very nice. might be a bit overkill, but you know, who knows. Burn Shinji for some extra DPS stuff. You know, move gauge fresh here and there, right? Other stuff, I mean, doesn't matter that much, I don't think. You know, some Dragon Dart power-ups, which is nice. And then 3 out of 5, you have Berserker 2, which maxes out your physical attack, which is cool, so you don't have to bring another support for that. Max Countdown, which could be helpful. And then again, your Sync Nuke multipliers over here, right? You have the Super Effective up next against burned opponents, 50% chance of that, right? Which is cool as well. This is just an extra random stat debuff when you're using B breaking swipes against burned opponents. It's, you know, it's very specific. It has to be burned, it has to be B breaking swipes. But you know, that's a lot because B breaking swipes already gives you -1 attack, defense, and speed, and then this one gives you another random stat debuff, and then you know your passive gives you more there, so you're getting a lot of debuffs with that. Status immunity. And yeah, obviously again, 3 out of 5, you do get some nice stuff, right? I'd say that Super Effective up next is really, really nice if you're planning to use them against dragon types. Although, you know, since there are like so many dragon types in this game, like I don't think it's like that big of a deal to have to run them against dragon types. Because you don't have to run them against dragon types, right? You could just run them against any type that could get debuffed, burned, all that stuff, right? But yeah, you definitely do get more on the sync, and you do get more self-sufficiency at 3 out of 5, so I think it's good. I don't think it's like a make or break for this unit, though. 4 out of 5, if it go viral on Will-O-Wisps, I don't think that's that big of a deal at all, honestly. Soften Up is nice to have, but it's more of a quality of life thing. And then 5 out of 5, Punishing Strikes 9 is definitely nice, but you just get so many debuffs anyways. Like, obviously, Punishing Strike would be, more reliable, but again, I don't feel like it's that big of a deal either, right? And then you got B Breaking Swipes BOGO 9, which is good, but as long as your team isn't like that bad on speed, you generally should be fine on gauges. So yeah, just mainly 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5. It's nice if you get them, but it's you definitely do not need them. It's not that big of a deal. 3 out of 5 would be nice if you have it, right? Especially for the extra bit of damage self-sufficiency, but it's also again not that big of a deal if you don't have it. So the main one is 1 out of 5, which is, well, if you don't have 1 out of 5, you don't have this unit at all. So if you're trying to go for him, try to at least get one, So, all right, that aside, let's get in more detail. Let's talk about the lucky skills, synchro, team comp, all that stuff. For lucky skills, there's a few options you could go for. If you just want like overkill on these debuffs, you could run something like a defense crush too, or something like that. I don't think it's necessary, honestly. I think it's overkill. Also, like for defense crush, you don't get like the extra chance for like dragon darts, right? So like people could talk about defense crush on it. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't think it's that big of a deal, right? But yeah, your usual crit strike 2, right, is gonna be solid on him. Maybe head start 1, right, if you want to use the max move a bit early. That could be nice. But otherwise, yeah, it's not too complicated max moves wise for this guy, right? So there's that. All right, as for the synchro, let's start out 1 out of 5. 1 out of 5 again. Pick up everything if you can. If not, I'd probably just go for the Dragon Dart power-ups, which, it's only +1, but, +1 is a lot. It's just one, twice in a row, and, it's good. Plus, you don't have anything else anyways, right? Beat Breaking Swipe power-ups as well. You can take this beat, everything else. Clear head if you're really needed, but otherwise, yeah, it's not that big of a deal. Again, you could just get them all if you have the orbs. As for 2 out of 5, if you are syncing with them, I'd pick up Catalyst. That's really, really nice to have. Again, in some cases, it might be overkill, so you don't have to really pick it up if your team really is fast enough, but, why not, right? I'd also probably pick up Flabbergast 9 on Will-O-Wisp, even if you're not fighting someone who really needs you to confuse them. It's sometimes just nice, right? Like, why not, right? Why not? Pick up the burn synergy stuff. I know it's only like 1 and 3, but A, you don't have much else here anyways, and B, also, why not? It's like, you add them up, it's 40%. 40%'s not nothing, man. It gets up there. You can pick up the move gauge refresh, maybe. I don't really care about either of these, but if it is like maybe like an AoE heavy stage, maybe you could go for like one of these instead, right? Yeah, I'd probably prefer max damage guard. It depends. It really depends on the stage. Is it like one big AoE move, or is like multiple like small ones? Like, are they like swifting a lot, breaking swipes, and then max regen maybe, right? But But yeah, you could go with stuff like that. But that's 2 out of 5. Again, 2 out of 5, I don't feel like there's like a ton of things really worth going for, right? Which is why I don't really recommend just going for 2 copies, right? I mean, if you get it, you get it, but not like actively hunting for it. 3 out of 5. Again, a few options to go for this. You go for the sync stuff, right? Bronze sync over here is obviously pretty powerful, right? As for how you reach the Scorching Sync, there's a few options you could go for, right? You go with, you know, super effective up next with the extra sync move power up over here, which I feel like is probably a bit more standard, right? You could also, if you want this, you could do this, right? Drop the Catalyst. I'd probably just stick with this, because again, you break, like, you already have enough debuffs. You have enough debuffs. I don't think we need more debuffs, right? Especially if it is a longer stage, which he should be very, very, very good in, right? It's not that big of a deal, right? Just, yeah, like, maybe if it's like a master mode stage where you want to get stuff out, like, really, really fast, then okay, perhaps, but otherwise, I wouldn't really. And, you know, if you go down here, if you go down this route, you could also pick up a Max Wormwind power-up, which, this is some really, really good stuff, right? You get 100% Sync Move Multiplier, you get both Sync Move power-ups, you get the Max Wormwind power-up, and then you also have one extra Dragon Dart power up, but also Catalyst. You have burned opponent super effective up next for, right, if you are fighting Dragon Week. If you're not fighting Dragon Week, obviously completely ignore that node, because that is that's useless basically, right? Or you could just ignore all that stuff like altogether, and you could pick up stuff like burn synergy here as well, just do like a bit of extra damage, right? Then maybe like another Dragon Dart power up, or like another option if you don't want to run a support with him, just want him to max out his own stuff by himself, you could definitely pick up that Berserker over there, right? So in this case, I'd probably just forego this bottom half of the grid. You just focus more on the top half of this grid. You can maybe, again, pick up a Max Wormwind or the Burn Synergy, depending, you know, on the situation, right? If it's a faster stage where you could just get rid of them with, like, Max Wormwind, then that, right? If it's going to take a while, then Bird Synergy might be more consistent, right? Especially if it's like a Legendary Gauntlet stage. Although some Legendary Gauntlets, like he could probably do enough damage that, you know, you can just run this and it'll be fine, right? So yeah, those are some options. If you're not syncing with them, my question is, what team are you running if you're not syncing with him? Because he's a good nuker, man. He's a good nuker. There's not too many, you know, teams that you'd run him on where there would be a better nuker. Although there are some, right? There are some, but I would say that's kind of few and far between. So yeah, but if you aren't running him as a nuker, that's fine, I guess, right? You know, you could do that. You could definitely do that. But in that case, I'll probably just go for stuff like the Max Wormwind. Again, you get the Burn Synergy over here, right? Maybe the Max Countdown, get to the Berserker 2, right? And then it depends. You could also go for this instead, right? And you could like go down like this route. In that scenario, obviously, you know, you don't have that much options over here, right? Maybe you just forego that. Or if you do have someone else to buff his physical attack, you just go, you know, with the other side, right? It just really depends. Do you have someone to buff his physical attack, max that out, or do you not, right? But also, if you do, that also saves you a lot more energy, which you could spend on like other things, right? Like more Dragon Dart power-ups. No, I mean, you could do that. I mean, it's not a bad thing. But if you want stuff like a max regen, you could pick that up. But otherwise, just like honestly, you just pick up the Dragon Darts. Can we afford Confusion Synergy 1? Yes, we can. Is it worth it? I'm not sure. You'll have to do the calculations. Anyways, so that's 3 out of 5. As for 4 out of 5, the go viral thing, I just really don't see a scenario where this is incredibly helpful. Because if you're using him against like Legendary Gauntlet stages, which he should be very, very good against, right? Because he has the status, he has he has Confusion, he has the nuke, he has the debuffs. Like that counters like over half of the gauntlets already, right? So, but yeah, the other thing about gauntlets is there's not too many AoE ones. It's just Latios, which you could have him at 1 out of 5 completely ungrid him, and he'd obliterate Latios, especially since he's super effective, right? Like you could just have him like on auto, right, and he could obliterate that stage. The other one is Latios, which is a bit more nuanced. I guess maybe against Latios, you could maybe pick up this Latios. You could pick up the go viral, and then you can maybe hit the breaking swipe, burn opponent stat thing, right? Have something like that over there against Latios, but like otherwise, I don't feel like that's that big of a deal. And then again for soften up's just pretty pretty simple, right? I mean, if you could get access to it, right, and you don't want to just restart over and over again just because you can't get sync to crit, then yeah, pick that up, right? Otherwise, 5 to 5. The punishing strike thing, again, it's nice. Alright, it is nice, but I don't know, it's just like, he has a lot of other good stuff on his grid, though, right? Like, do you really want that? Is it that big of a deal when you could really just debuff with, like, all his other stuff, right? But if you do, I'd probably imagine in this scenario, you're not syncing with him, just because, like, yeah, because if you are syncing with him, you'd have to spend the energy to pick up, like, this stuff, right? Like, which does not come cheap. This stuff does not come cheap, right? Like, that's not even, you know, yeah, you can't really afford that, right? Because, again, if you're syncing, you go for the ultimate sync nuke thing, right? Maybe you don't pick up Catalyst. That's, like, maybe only thing. But then, even if you don't pick up Catalyst, you still don't have enough, right? So, like, I don't, yeah. So, I guess if you're not syncing with him, you could pick this up. And in this case, I'm assuming you're not going to be using beat breaking swipes that much. You're just going to be focusing on punishing strike, which over here you could just do something like this instead. Maybe we'll pick up a burn synergy 1, or if you have, you know, someone to buff, you could go burn synergy 3, which, you know, is better, right? But, you know, depends on if you have someone to buff or not. As for Bogo 9, I really don't think it's necessary, bro. Like, he's almost 500 speed. He has a 4 gauge move user, so it's not like nothing, but, like, it's beat breaking swipes, which is 2 gauges, unless you just alternate them, which in that case, okay, fine, right? But again, that would be just a very specialized sort of grid for a certain, like, gauntlet or whatever, or team that you run in a gauntlet, right? So as for team comps, there's a lot of options, right? Like, for example, you go something like this, right? Run it with Lucas and then champion Bede, just because, you know, physical, you know, all that, so you get both the physical and special move up next with champion Bede, among other things, right? The super effective up next, all that stuff. He's just very, very good. Yeah, it is a pretty gauge heavy team, but, you know, Lucas he has the speed buffs, right? He's obviously really good with speed. Champion Bede, you have the free move next, so it might not be that big of an issue, I feel like. Obviously, you know, you could take out Champion Bede for, like, other good, you know, supports, like Calum, maybe. Just be careful of the Dragon Zone, Dark Zone thing. You could do something like Calum, you could do something like the Aura Cynthia as well, right? Just, you know, just a lot of options. Or you could just completely forego that. You could go something like Tapu Bulu, because it's Tapu Bulu, right? And you just have, you'll just let Leon cook himself. As for some other options, alright, I mean, it's just mainly just if you want the Dragon Zone there, right? You run it with this guy. If not, I mean, there's still other options dragon-wise, right? You could run it with Iris, which in this case, Iris could potentially have a stronger nuke, so, like, you could maybe run him without the nuke stuff, which I don't really, because, like, if you don't run the nuke stuff, he doesn't have, like, that much stuff on his grid, though, so there's, like, that, I guess. But yeah, if you do run Iris, you could nuke with Iris instead. In this case, again, you don't have Dragon Zone, and you're just missing out on a lot of DPS, unfortunately. So I don't really recommend it that much, personally, but, you know, you could go for it. The good thing about this is they're both physical, so you could run something like, again, a Tapu Bulu or like a Sonya, right? That could be, you know, just some more physical-oriented. If you could take the hits, SC Steven, right? Most of the time you probably won't be able to, but, you know, if you can, then sure. But yeah, a lot of good physical supports, obviously, right? So you could do that. As for any other, I wish they stayed for, like, each bracket. As for any other options, you could run him with himself. This is also a debuffer, if you guys do remember, right? He's got the 7, whatever it's called again, lucky 7-4, right? It's 50% chance of all of these -1, right? And, you know, you get some DPS out of that, right? With the Dynamax cannon, as well, right? You shouldn't be that bad on speed either, especially good base speed. Again, another XP plus dragon type unit, 4 gauge unit over here. That could also be nice. Annie Raihan could low-key be a decent option as well. Obviously, you're not getting much DPS from him, but, you know, it could be something fun you could run. right? You could give the super effective up next, all that stuff, you know. Although maybe not like the best option though, just because he's more like special focused. But as for like any other physical ones, there's not like that many, I guess. Just for dragon type specifically, you can maybe go for like a physical Zinnia, right? You know, that's free, right? She's good. And then for the support, you could run maybe like a Silver Ho-Oh or like I don't know, just any of those the weather sending supports, right? Again, Acerola, right? Obviously one of the best in the game. So a lot of options there, right? A lot of options there. The new Dragology is I don't know. I just feel like it's more like sure if you want, but yeah, like obviously Champion Serena. This one you might need a bit more gauge support if you are running her, right? That is something to consider. And I think that's like, oh, Lance, I guess. Yeah, again, it's just as long as you have the gauges. He definitely has DPS. You could just straight up nuke with this guy. He could just DPS them and just get someone who could help with the gauges, and you're all set, right? Because he doesn't really need help with buffing his own stats anymore, right? So that's really good there. So yeah, a lot of options, not even just dragon types, right? You could just straight up just run him as like some debuffer against some, again, something like a Latios or whatever, right? So just so many options for him, right, team wise. So going over some of his pros and cons. First of all, he's fast. He's really fast, right? There's multiple ways of getting fast. He has his debuff, right? You know, one of the top debuffers in the game, right? He's just so versatile with those debuffing. You know, you have the debuffs and beat breaking swipes, his passive. You have more on his grid, right? You have special, you know, with dragon darts when they hit twice in a row, right? You get 2 of them. Just a lot of debuffing. He's also a 3-level damage dealer, right? His DPS is good. His sync nuke is good. His max move damage is good, right? I mean, if you let's go to the runner's damage calc docs, right? Like that's straight up #1 DPS for dragon types, which is pretty impressive considering dragon. There's a lot of competition within dragon types, right? So that's it's pretty powerful, right? Then again, his nuke is very good as well, right? There's still not the strongest of them all, right? But it's good. It's easier to set up, right? It's pretty easy to set up at least. And also, again, he also does have the max move damage, which is very nice. Right? It's like it's a few million, extra few million damage for free, because you know, why not, right? So yeah, there is with Max Wormwind over there, which also gets you some physical attack debuffs if you needed more debuffs for some reason, right? Also, he is self-sufficient at 3 out of 5, I guess, with the Berserker 2, although it's like not that big of a deal. Like even at 1 out of 5, he just needs +2 physical attack, which does not make him self-sufficient, but you know, he's pretty much there. And then also he has Burning Confusion, obviously, so that's again very nice for certain gauntlets and stages and stuff. Also forgot to mention, you know, the piercing blows thing is nice too, right? As for cons, like some people bring up, again, people bring up this a lot. I don't necessarily really agree. People might say, oh, oversaturated type, you know, too many dragon types. But here's again, here's 2 arguments against them. First of all, it's the old, okay, who cares, use him off type, right? He's still gonna obliterate stages off type. You know, especially since you don't even have to use him as damage dealer. You could just use him as like a straight up just debuffer, status sort of unit, right? Just use him like as a tech, right? Gauges, speed, all that stuff. But also, we have this new thing, right? If you guys remember, I don't remember, wow, what was it called again? But like, you know, we had that water type event a few days ago, right? What if there's a dragon one up next? So like now, it's not like, oh, I'm just gonna get 1 dragon type and we're good. No, I mean, if you don't play that event, sure, but 1 dragon type is not good anymore, right? You want more, especially for these types that have a lot of them, because those are probably the types that they will be releasing those events for soon, right? So I don't think that's much of a con. Yeah, I don't really see too many big issues with this unit. Yeah, like you could maybe say like team comp wise, maybe he's not the best fit with Lucas. I don't even really agree there, because like you know, if you compare him to like, you know, some of the other more like physical special specific sort of units, right? He doesn't really have that though, like unless it's 5 out of 5 where you have punishing strikes 9, right? Otherwise his debuffs, he debuffs special defense too. He debuffs special defense. It's not just all physical, right? Obviously breaking swipes itself, it's physical attack, defense, and speed. But you know, you could run him, you could totally run him with Lucas. He could help Lucas debuff the special defense. Lucas doesn't really help him debuff physical defense, but does he really need anyone else to help him debuff those? I don't think it's that big of an issue. Are they a perfect fit? No, they're not a perfect fit, right? But they're fine. They're fine, I guess, for the most part at least. So, anyways, overall, I think he's a really, really, really powerful unit. Again, if you need that debuffing, there you go. He's a great debuffer. He's a great DPS unit, great nuker. You know, got that max move as well, right? Gauges wise, he should be really, really nice here. Status, confusion. He's just got a lot of stuff, right? And also, he's maybe one of the other pros I forgot to mention. He's pretty cheap too. 1 out of 5. Alt Leon does great wonders, right? He's already, you know, really, really, really nice at 1 out of 5. So, anyways, overall, I'd probably give it like a 8.1 out of 10 for pull rate. Again, just keep in mind he's gonna be here for a while. I don't exactly remember how long. Let me just quickly check. But yeah, it's just we have the anniversary coming up. Hello, the anniversary is up soon. So that is definitely something to keep in mind. Also, there's other great units coming out this month as well. So, but I'd say like of this month, you know, he's probably one of the better ones, right? He's I don't know, he's just a really, really good unit, right? And he's really, really good. Can't really say much negative about it, right? He's just solid, powerful, fast, right? Got all the utility stuff. Great unit. Great unit. Just you don't just have to go for him immediately. You could just wait and see, you know, see what happens later on before actually going for it, right? So there's that, I guess. Okay, now let's just quickly go over the other 2 variety units that I didn't go over yet, right? I mean, we'll just quickly go over because, like, A, they've already been out for a while, and B, there's just not that much interest in these variety units, unfortunately, right? So, but yeah, we'll talk about them. So, Kiawe Arcanine, it's a tech unit, right? It's very much focused on debuffing, right? Burning, debuffing, and you know, you can do some of that damage on that nuke as well. He also has trap, right? On top of that, I would say he also has extended range. I don't feel like his extended range is like a huge deal though, just because like, how often are you really gonna make use of that? Like, how many stages are there, like, you know, where you'd actually have to use the extend? Because it's not like he has damage, right? He does not have DPS. He's just mainly, it's Ember, Fire Spin. None of these are doing real damage, unfortunately, right? So it's mainly used for like spreading either Will-O-Wisp or like the trap on Fire Spin, which there's just not that many stages you use it on. Like, if you look at the Gauntlet stages, again, the AoE ones, it's Latios and Latios. Neither of them really need it, right? And then it's just maybe some Master Mode stages, which, again, these units are built for Gauntlet, right? They're not exactly built for Master Mode, so there's that, I guess. But yeah, in terms of, you know, some of the other stuff, right? +4 attack, or special attack, actually crit +2. So you would need help maxing out his stuff there, right? Which is slightly inconvenient, again, if you are just going for that you know, Gauntlet, right? In terms of his other passives, he has special attack debuff, special defense debuff against burned and trap opponents, respectively. That's definitely very, very nice. It slightly sucks it has to be separated, but, you know, it is what it is. He is going to be a really, really nice Yuxi counter. I'd say, like, strictly from, like, the way he operates, probably even better than the Alt Leon. But obviously, if you are looking for, like a burn, infliction, debuff, nuking unit, the new Alt Leon is obviously better, right? From almost every perspective. But, you know, if you just really like Kiawe or Arcanine, then you could still go for him. He's just kind of like a heavily discounted Alt Leon, in a way, I guess, right? So yeah, if you're trying to grid him, if you're going for 3 out of 5, if you're trying to nuke with him, you could maybe go with something like this, you can pick up Interference Sync and Power Play, right? That's some solid, sync multipliers over there. You get one of these sync move power-ups, you get Move Gauge Refresh on Ember, you get the attack and special, or not special, speed debuffs on Burned and Trapped as well. So that's, I'd say, overall pretty nice. It's just your probably go-to for like most case scenarios. But you could also run him like more strictly as like a debuffing status support. Although his nuke is really good though, like low key. Like you wouldn't even, like, I was really surprised. I guess I shouldn't be that surprised just because it got power play here, it got Interference Sync 5, right? The innate tech, all that stuff, right? His special attack's not terrible either. Well, it's pretty good, right? So yeah, like straight up, that is very good. Like, what the heck? 5.7 million potentially is a lot. So damn, right? But yeah, again, you don't have to run him just for that. You could, if you don't want to sync with him, you could totally do that. You could do something else inside, like, because there is Move Gauge Refresh 9. That's obviously going to be fantastic for gauges. If you want like the extra Poke Trap damage, you could go for that. I'm not sure how well it's gonna like do. I guess we'll see, right? Because I'll check them out eventually, right? You also have like the Team Sync regen, but again, that needs you to sync. Team Sync regen is definitely nice though. So if you are going for that, right? Maybe because Team Sync regen, you don't have to do like every sync, or you could do like maybe every other sync. So maybe you don't have like have to do like that much. So also the speed debuff and attack debuff, they're not like necessary, right? Unless you just really have someone with those multipliers, it's not like that big of a deal. So you can maybe just do like something like this, perhaps, right? And you get that and if Poke Trap's not like that good, you straight up just get like Repulsion here instead or something. And then you can't afford this, right? Yeah, actually, can we just, we just do that and get Move Gauge Refresh 9s and then Team Sync regen and slightly more damage on your like Fire Spins or whatever, right? So you could do something like that, which is like a combo, right? We get some regen if you're not syncing like every single time with them, Move Gauge Refresh, all this stuff. So yeah, there's some options there. As for like team comps, it really just depends. If you're just trying to like make him like the focus for like a sync nuke run or whatever, you could definitely do something like Kiawe, this guy, and just anyone who to really just max out his actually, well, Silver can do that if you just sync with Silver, right? But yeah, just any like other fire type just to give some DPS, because he has no DPS, right? Something like the new Gloria that's coming out soon. Or maybe even this Lucas, this variety Lucas could be really nice, right? Obviously there's a billion fire type damage to those, man. You don't have you don't need to have me to help you pick that. So as for a pulse core, I don't really recommend it that much unless you're a big Arcanine / Kiawe fan. It's a nice unit, right? The sync nuke is really powerful and all that stuff. The debuffs are nice, but like if you're like, it's literally coming out as there's like a straight up better debuff unit that's also out at the same time, so you just have that other option. And again, it's close to the anniversary. There's all these other just better banners up, right? So like he's a decent gauntlet unit. And again, there are some flaws, right? Like the extended range was slightly unnecessary, man. And he has 0 DPS, right? And he doesn't really tank either. So yeah, he's all right, but it's just I can't really heavily recommend him or whatever, right? If you're not like a huge fan of the character, Pokemon, all that stuff. Now let's quickly go over Mallow, right? This one's the support. It has like it's a Giga Drain support with not a lot of speed, unfortunately. The HP isn't like crazy high either. I mean, it's not nothing, but it's not crazy. But the special defense definitely very good. The defense is pretty good too. You do have X special defense also. It's more of a special defensive tank. You have Stun Sport, Paralyze. Obviously, something against Tornadus would be nice. Today's special, the trainer move, which buffs your team's special attack, crit by 2, special attack by 4, crit by 2, and accuracy by 1, which is pretty good. Like you could only use it once, but most of the time, like there's rarely any units that you need like +6 special attack, right? Even Dragonite doesn't even now. It's just like Mewtwo, like some older tech units maybe. So yeah, what else? So you have the absorb hit, attack down, right? You could debuff the opponent's physical attack. You could heal when you're attacking paralyzed opponents, and you have status immunity, which is again just very good against multiple gauntlet opponents, right? Some like Cresselia, right, etc. So yeah, it's so overall it's just a nice solid gauntlet tank that doesn't really give you the speed, so it is better if you do run her with a more gauge, a solid gauge team, right? Because again, bad speed, lowest gauge is like a 2-gauge move over here, right? But if you do have her gridded, you do have some options here, right? Revenge Boost 9 could definitely help with the speed thing. Pep Rally could help with the speed thing, right? Move Gauge Refresh 9 on Giga Drain could help there as well. Catalyst, obviously. So there are things that could help. You could also pick up Team Sharp Entry if you want to max out your team's crit. Because sometimes crit. There's units out there that don't have any crit buff. So as for anything else, if you are fighting a physical stage, maybe considering using a different unit, or just pick up like Shield at all here, I guess, right? There's Synchro Healing is always just good, but it is slightly costly because you have to go all the way here. Although it's not like picking up nothing, right? You pick up like Stun Spore, Move Gauge Refresher, it's not bad, right? I wouldn't really recommend picking this up. I think that's a bit of a trap. I think this is a bit of a trap, right? So I'll just note all the like better nodes over here, right? Which I believe Pep Rally is nice. This is nice. This can be nice, right? Situationally, this can be situationally nice. This could definitely be nice. These are very situational. This could be nice. This is always solid, right? This is nice. This is not bad, I guess. This maybe if you just don't have that much tanking stuff, then you could just take that as like a bit of a crutch. But otherwise, I feel like these are like the main ones. This, again, depending on the situation, could be very nice, or it could be completely useless. So yeah, I feel like those are just the main nodes. And yeah. Oh, I forgot to talk about lucky skills and stuff. For Kiawe, it's your regular. Either you get some speed with that, which I don't really feel like you need, because he's not that heavy of a gauge unit. Also, he's pretty good on speed. But if you want, you could do stuff like I don't know, Head Star maybe, if you're willing. But it's just, I feel like most people should probably just run Crit Strike 2 on him, and that's fine, right? As for this Mallow, Genetic, for Vigilance would be nice on her, right? Fast Track would be good, right? Even Move Gauge Refresh would be nice. Maybe Adrenaline would work here as well. So yeah, there's a few options. There's a few options for her. Healthy Healing maybe. So yeah, she has some options. Score wise, I'd probably have her like a 5.9 out of 10. Like I'd say, like if you were to pick one of these two, I'd probably maybe Mallow instead, right? Just because she's a bit more unique. Again, she is not without issues. Gauge is definitely an issue. Like she does have mitigation. Ways to make it not as bad in her grid at 3 out of 5 especially, right? But it's still not going to be great, right? But she does have all the other stuff, right? I mean, she should tank really well, especially against special opponents, right? The buffs are solid. The paralysis is really good, right? The healing could be really nice as well, all that stuff. And then the debuffing, she has some. It's not anything crazy, but it could be nice, right? So, anyways, that's for this one. I guess hope y'all enjoyed the guys. Think in the comments down below. Like, enjoy the videos from our channel for more Polemas content. I'll see. Again, I just have a lot of work to do, unfortunately. But hopefully, I could try these units out soon, maybe. But we'll do Leon later tonight, and we'll see, right? So, all right, have fun, folks. I'll see you guys in the next one.